Alright guys, once again, welcome back to the channel. And for those of you that are just joining us, you're new to the channel, do not forget, like, subscribe and comment. And for those of you that haven't subscribed as yet, remember to subscribe and like and share your thoughts in the comment section. And we can also dive into that in the next episode as well. So today's topic, what I really want to talk about is the fact that a lot of guys ignore this. I don't know why. It's either they ignore it or they're very ignorant to it. But one thing I've noticed is that guys don't realize that neediness is one of the worst traits that you can have in the form of trying to attract a woman that you want to be with. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that neediness is very, very repelling when it comes to attraction in terms of wanting to be with that particular woman. So you need to understand, a man who does not need her is the exact same man she ends up wanting the most. I'm going to repeat that again. A man who doesn't need her is the man she ends up wanting the most. Now, if you notice what I said, I didn't say a man that wants her. The man that doesn't need her is the one that she ends up wanting the most. Now, you need to be the guy that wants her but doesn't need her. Because you need to understand, when you need her, you're in the space of chasing. When you are needy towards a woman, it becomes repelling over time. And the worst word I can actually use is that it actually becomes revolting. That's the worst one I can actually use on this platform. But once you understand that, you realize that women are drawn to independence. Now, when I talk about independence, I'm not talking about what you possess in terms of materialistic things, in terms of symbols, in terms of things that draw attention. When I talk about independence, I'm talking about your entire character as a full-on man. Women are drawn to men who are self-led and self-sufficient. Now, one of the best ways I can give you an example, think of a sales guy, a guy who's trying to sell a product to a consumer. Have you noticed the more a salesman starts to over-explain himself, the more he starts to overcompensate that product, the more he starts talking about the product where it's not even necessary, the consumer starts to realize that you are desperate as a salesperson. He starts to realize that the only reason why you are overselling the product is because you're really not making that much sales off it. Now, to him, he's thinking, oh, okay, if this guy is desperate for my sales, that means no one else is buying into the product. And if no one else is buying into the product, why should he? So eventually, that sale does not even take place. It's the same when it comes to attraction between men and women. And that's why I go back to saying, the more you become needy, the more you are desperate, it's the more you kill polarity between the two of you all. Men need to start understanding that women are naturally and they're biologically wired to be drawn and attracted to men who are self-sufficient, guys who are self-led. Because when it comes to neediness, it only communicates three things when it comes to women: a lack of purpose, a lack of options, and a lack of emotional control. I'm going to repeat that again. If you are the guy that is needy, you basically saying that you have no purpose happening in your life. You basically explaining to her that you have no options. Why would you be needy if you are that guy who's attractive towards women? And I'm not talking about your looks. I'm not talking about your aesthetics. I'm not talking about what you have, but I'm talking about you in terms of your character. Because what draws attraction between men and women is the character at the end of the day. Now, I know a lot of guys will end up saying, no, but women are into materialistic things. You 100% correct. You're not wrong on that. But here's the thing when it comes to the materialism. It's not that it draws attraction. It draws attention. Two different things. So if you're the guy who does not have a sense of purpose, no options, and no emotional control, you come across as if you are unattractive. That's the way it is. You come across as if you're unattractive. So the more you overcompensate, you overtext, you try to love bomb her most of the times. A lot of guys do this. The more you do that is the more you become invisible to her, because she starts to notice, oh, this guy's over investing himself. He's overcompensating. So basically, this is the guy who's very needy because he doesn't have much going on with him. Besides not having much going on with him, but he's also that same guy who doesn't have that much options in terms of attraction. So why should I invest my time into this kind of guy? That's the way it is. And I need men to understand I'm not trying to show you to be disrespectful. I don't want you to think this is a way you can now start stunting on women. It's not about that. I just need guys to start understanding how hypergamy works on a deeper level, beyond the money, the status, the power, and beyond the physicality, the surface level things. Because as much as you might have those things together, but there's still a lot of guys who might have their life together in terms of finance, stability, status, guys who have money, guys who have the looks, but yet they still come across as needy, and they start to ask themselves the question, why is she detaching? She's detaching because she's noticed, she's seen that you're not really in that frame in terms of your sense of purpose. That's what a lot of guys don't realize. Women are drawn to guys who are self-sufficient, regardless whether or not she's there. That's how it is. So it's not about you being full of yourself. Understand this. It's not about you being full of yourself, but it's about you being full within yourself to the point where you don't need female validation to feel like a man. That's what I'm trying to explain to most guys, and most guys don't realize this. If you can operate without validation from female, if you can be confident as a gent in who you are and what you're about, without every move that you are making to be based on female validation, women are drawn to that. So understand, the less you need her is the more that she's going to be drawn to you. The less that you actually need her is the more that she's going to be drawn to you. So if you find yourself in that situation where you start asking yourself, how do I keep this woman interested in me? I can tell you now, the moment you start asking yourself those kind of questions, it's the moment you're already on the wrong path. Because the best way to keep her interested is to be the guy who does not chase female validation, is to be the guy who's centered within his purpose. Because remember, within your purpose, you are drawn to something bigger that is beyond you. You are driven and centered towards something that is bigger and better than you, which is your own development and growth. And women love a man that is continuously growing and always trying to be the best version of himself. And it's not just about doing it to gain attraction. No, it's for him. And that's what I mean. His validation does not come from seeking it from females. That's what a lot of guys don't realize. But if you really want to be the guy that keeps a woman interested, be centered within your purpose. Be that guy who doesn't need female validation. You have to be the man that actually wants her but doesn't need her. And on top of that, you need to be the man that she wants, not the man that wants her to need him. That you need to understand. So you need to create a life that she wants to be part of, not be the center of. Because the moment she's the center of that life, you now looking up. She's no longer looking up to you. And women are drawn to men they actually look up to. Men who actually know how to lead their life with or without a woman. The moment you become dependent or needy of her, over time, whether you like it or not, she's going to detach. Women do not like complacency within a man. And I'm not just talking about whatever it is that you're achieving outside, but I'm talking about your core character development. That is why the best thing any man can do for themselves is to be centered within your purpose. And you can't go around faking your purpose just to draw attraction. You need to genuinely be the man within your masculine frame. I've said it over and over again. Masculinity goes beyond the physicality. All right. The physicality, those are just symbols of masculinity. Whether you got the big chest, the six pack, the looks, whatever it is, the great jawline, perfect for you. But how many times have you seen guys like that end up losing women? It's because their core character development is not within intact. They are easily shifted and easily swayed. They are not centered within their masculine behavior that resembles things such as discipline, that resembles things such as emotional control, being centered within your purpose. All right. So understand, having abundance as a man, you realize that there is more to who you are than female validation. Women are drawn to guys who do not need them but want them. Two different things. All right. So, guys, remember, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys on the next one.